Hey guys, and welcome into another video. Today we're going to be going over a 7-round mock draft, first of the year. Now, I want to explain it a little bit at the beginning just so we're on the same page. I talked about it a little bit in my last mock draft, which has been doing really well, so thank you so much for the support. Welcome me back to YouTube as well. But what we're going to be doing here is what I did last year as a 7-round mock draft. I gave one mock draft for each team. I went very deep into the prospects, and I talked about all of them, and I think it did well. I want to do it a little differently this year. I don't know much about the prospects as much as I did last year. The things have happened that we all know about on this channel that have made me slow down. We don't have as much time, and I want to get to as many teams as possible. So what we're going to be doing here is using the Draft Network. We use this for our mock drafts most of the time, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be selecting the team. So in today's video, we're going to be doing my favorite team, New York Giants. We're going to be taking them. We're going to go over to the number of rounds, 7 rounds, and we're going to make the draft speed fast. That way that the CPU picks out whoever it is, and however else the draft goes is how it goes. It's a draft. It's going to switch up every time. We're going to do about 2 or 3 of these, and we're just going to see how our drafts turn out. So without further ado, not wasting as many time, we're going to go right into it. So we see Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell, Slater, Lance, Waddle, Fields, Certain, and Farley go off the board. So here at pick 11, this is an easy selection if it happens like this. I don't think it will. For me, I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts. I don't think Kyle Pitts is going to be on the board here. Just getting another weapon. Kyle Rudolph got signed for 2 years, and that's a great thing. Evan Ingram is on his contract year. I really think just a guy like Kyle Pitts will be able to go in and make an impact right away. So getting a guy like Kyle Pitts there at 11 is going to be a huge, huge, huge pick for the Giants. So just being able to do that would be awesome. I don't know if it'd really be like that at the end of it. But if he's on the board, I just don't see a way that Gettleman passes up on him because I think he's going to be a top 5 talent coming out of this draft. Then you look here at pick 42 for the Giants. Also, let me preface this. All these drafts are under the assumption that Kenny Golladay signed with the Giants. Now, I know it's not a guarantee. As of right now, it is 8 o'clock Arizona time on March 19th. So it's not a guarantee he's signing there, but he stayed with them all day. He's staying overnight in New York as well. It seems as if they're going to get a deal done tomorrow. So I'm just going to go under the assumption that they are doing that. Now, here we are at pick 42. Now, wide receiver, it says a need. I don't think so with Golladay there. You have Ross, you have Shepard, you have Slayton. I believe Pettis might still be on the roster as well. I just don't think that's a need, especially not high in the rounds. Maybe later on. But what you do need now is an edge rusher is another one. Linebacker help. You know, Blake Martinez is pretty much the only linebacker who is solid, like solidified as a starter. You know, Tate Crowder is there as well, but we'll see what he can get. He came off an injury last year. He had a good year as a rookie. An extra corner would be good. I know Adoree Jackson's visiting. I won't say that he's going to sign, but I know he is visiting. So offense is really where it's at, and I think interior offensive lineman is the best way to go, and that's why for me, I'm going to be taking Wyatt Davis here out of Ohio State. Getting some help on the offensive side. You can move either Lemieux to center. He had some center reps this last year. You know, have Davis and Hernandez starting, replace Zeitler that way. Then you have Solder and you have Thomas on the outside, and that's a really good young offensive line because then when Solder leaves next year, Parrott should be able to step in that starting lineup, or you're able to draft somebody to replace him. I think that's just the best deal that you can get. Help that offensive line. So now in this draft, you've already gotten an offensive weapon in Kyle Pitts as well as some help on the offensive line. So now it's time to look at some defensive players. Now, there's a couple things we could do. We can go towards an edge rusher here, right? A guy that we can look at here is, where is he? There he is. Rashad Jr. out of Oregon State, who is very good. I have him as a second-round talent in my personal opinion. He's still available. You can go after a corner. Darnay Holmes has been great, but you have guys here like Adebo and Sean Wade who I really think are great. Mukuamu, I think, is a very good sleeper corner. He's kind of fell off the draft boards a lot. I used to have him as a first-round grade. He's fell down, but I think he's a good one. But for me, personally, I'm going to be getting Sean Wade at Ohio State. I think he's a first-round talent. He just is the opting out and opting in kind of situation was very weird. But getting him there to possibly be the number 2 corner with Darnay Holmes in the nickel or even switching around. You still have McKinney, Ryan, and Peppers all in that secondary. Just helping up the defense as much as you can. I really do think that's the best thing you could do here. You see us coming up here at pick 116, and there's a lot of guys coming off the board. So best thing we can do here is look at who's the best available. Now we have an edge rusher out of Duke here. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name. Interior defensive lineman, you could replace Big Dex, Big Dalvin Tomlinson as well. Some running back help because Devontae Booker's there for 2 years, and then other than that, Saquon is just there. But we know Saquon's been a little bit hurt. But what I'm going to be doing is getting a wide receiver for the Giants, and that's going to be Frank Darby out of ASU. Being an Arizona State student, I've seen Frank Darby in person. My brother has worked with him. It's very, very impressive, the kind of skill set that he has and the mentality he has towards the game. I really do like him coming out of ASU. I think he could be as good, if not better, than Ayuk and N'Keal Harry. I think he has that much talent. His draft stock is not there, but he really is that talented of a player if he's put in the right system. And getting a guy like him on the Giants, where they have guys like Golladay, Shepard, Slayton, etc., to come into that maybe number 4 role, make the roster, use him on returns and just kind of see where he can go. I think that's a better thing to do. For this sense, use him on special teams that first year, let him develop, and see where you can get him in that next year. Now, obviously, got to wait a long time for our next pick, but at 196, we are going to be there. And when you get towards this end of the draft, you're really just looking for the best available players, just any guys that can help you at any position. So let's just see here. Let's just go to the best possible position. Is there a way? There we go. So the top guys are all receivers, some corners there. We haven't taken an edge rusher or a linebacker, and I think that's okay because none of these guys are really going to help us out too much in theory at that position. But I think it's time to look at somebody in the linebacker or the edge rushing. So Josh Ross out of Michigan, I have heard things about him. KJ Britt out of Auburn, I've heard good things about as well. Patty Fisher was a good one at Northwestern. I forgot what happened to him. Him and Tuff Borland. I'm not sure, but getting a guy like Patty Fisher would be good. I feel like he might be able there the next round. So looking at our draft board, I think I'm just going to go with a best available edge rusher here, and that's going to be out of Buffalo, Malcolm Kuntz. I don't know. I don't really know how to say it. But Malcolm's going to be on the squad, throwing him on there. We get another pick here at 201. And I think that even though it might seem like a little bit of a reach, I think getting a linebacker is going to be good. There's a lot of guys here, but personally for me, I think Patty Fisher, being a senior, is going to be the better pick for the Giants there. So going through it, it's not much science going into this, not much deep diving going into this. It's pretty much just, okay, what are we looking at and trying to get it done quick. So I think maybe 2 or 3 mock drafts, depending on how the videos are going, how many picks each team has, etc. But I think it's a good spot to start at, and I think that this might be a little bit quicker, more fun of a system too, because, hey, if you don't like the first mock draft, wait till the second one comes around, and it'll be right there as well for you. But here we are in round 7, and the picks are coming to an end here as we're going to see all the picks go off the board, and our draft is finalized. So we're going to go right into another mock draft here. So start a mock draft. You saw how that one went, and we're going to switch it up a little bit. So we're not going to the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to be going to the New York Giants. Again, draft speed, fast, 7 rounds. We're going right back into it. I'm not even going to edit this out. That's how quick we're going into it. Right here, Trevor Lawrence goes off the board. Trey Lance goes number 2. Then Jamar Chase, Siwa, Pitts, Wilson, Waddle off the board. Justin Fields, Patrick Surtain, and Rashawn Slater goes to the Cowboys. So Caleb Farley is still on the board. And if that was the case, I think the Giants would have to look at him as a main prospect. I'm going to act like the Cowboys took Farley because there's no way in hell that they're passing up on him. They need so much corner help. So what I'm going to do is go after, this is what I really think or really want the Giants to do. Let's take Greg Rousseau here at 11. I think he'd be a top 5 edge rusher in the draft, if not for opting out, if not for COVID, if not for any of that stuff. So for him to be there at pick 11 for us, I think it's just the best thing. Kenny Golladay gets signed, or even Adoree Jackson gets signed with him. I really do think that that's the best thing to do. Sure up an edge rusher, pair him alongside Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence. Obviously, we lost Dalvin Tomlinson, so it's a little bit of a loss, but getting a guy like Greg Rousseau there is really going to help him out. And I think he is a guy that can be a top edge rusher in this game. I really do believe that. So here at pick 42, we see some guys going off the board. And now we have our edge rusher. We can look at a bunch of different things here. So there they pop up. You got Barmore out of Alabama. I think he's very good. Aaron Robinson's the top corner on the board. It says we need a tight end. Evan Ingram is on a contract year, and we do have an old guy. So getting a guy like Freiermuth, if he's still on the board, would not be bad. Brevin Jordan out of Miami, I'm also a fan of. So those guys are definitely something we could look at. I think it's somebody we could look at maybe the next pick, if not just getting someone in free agency or next year's draft. Tight ends are usually decent to find in the next one. We already took an offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman. I really do think that is a solid pick there. But what we're going to be doing is going over to linebacker. And there's a lot of guys. Jabril Cox, Jamean Davis, Baron Browning, Dylan Moses, Chaz Surratt. I really do like a lot of these. Pete Warner. I really do like a lot of these interior linebackers. But for me, out of all these guys, I really do think the best guy, personally for me, that I've seen on tape is going to be Jabril Cox. I think he does a lot for a team. He can really get across the field a lot. Kind of needs to shore up a couple of things, but you got a guy like Blake Martinez who's going to be a tackling machine. You got a guy like Cox to kind of roam the field a little bit more, just help out that linebacker spot. You still have Tay Crowder there as well. You're able to rotate guys in and out there, and you still have you got an edge rusher and a solid linebacker to start off. This is, again, mind you, expecting a Kenny Golladay signing. You know, with Golladay, Shepard, Slayton, Barkley, Rudolph, Ingram, you know, that's a very, very, very solid receiving core and just offense in general. So especially with the offensive line being what it is right now, I think you can spend some picks on defense, even though the defense is a top tier defense as of last year. So now looking at the team at pick 76, there's a couple of things you can go. You can go for another receiver. You can go for a tight end, a corner. Corner is definitely a top pick. There's a lot of receivers still on the board here. And there's really no wrong answer. We already got Shaun Wade, so I won't be taking him today. But I think, man, I really do like Nazir Ladine as well. Or Darius Washington's still up there. Tylan Wallace, I do like a lot. Man, where do we want to do? We want to go with an edge rusher, or do we want to go with an offensive player? Or not an edge rusher. Do we want to go with a corner, or do we want to go with an offensive player? I think we go offensive line here. We can go offensive tackle, or we can go with interior offensive line. So we got Jackson Carman out of Clemson. Walker Little at Stanford, I really like as well, as a little bit of a late round sleeper. And interior offensive lineman, they got Josh Myers, Deontay Brown. I think we can go Josh Myers here. Ben Cleveland's a really good one. Ben Cleveland played center, didn't he? I believe he did. Oh, he lined up right guard. Oh, man. Josh Myers did play center. I think we're going to go Josh Myers here. Out of Ohio State, a center. That means Lemieux can play left guard. That means Hernandez can play right guard. Or you can switch whichever way you want those two. Parrott can start at right tackle after Solder. And you obviously have Andrew Thomas being that franchise left tackle there. So that's a way to shore up the offensive line. I think that's a good way to do it and kind of plug the holes as you need them throughout the draft and free agency in the upcoming years. But I really do think this is a great place for the Giants to be, especially with a guy like Golladay and Adoree Jackson both visiting. I really do think that's something that could be really nice for the Giants and make them not a contender necessarily, but a playoff team, a division winner going into next year. I'm really excited about this season for the Giants. Now, we see it's almost our pick again. At this point, we're in round 4. It's kind of just taking best players available as well as just trying to see, how you can improve your team, what you can do them for. And that's why I'm going to be taking Mukuamu out of South Carolina. Huge corner. If you knew nothing about him, just know he is a big corner, 6'3". Very, very, very much a man-to-man guy. He's definitely going to be able to go up on those jump balls and stuff. The reason I like him is because I think you can develop him to be just that, be that Richard Sherman type, where he doesn't have to necessarily control the offense. He can be more zone guy, kind of create a island for himself. Just, hey, you're not going to throw in this area, and my boys are going to have me in the back. I got Logan Ryan, Jabril Peppers, Xavier McKinney behind me. That's a good way for them to be there. And plus, Mukuamu, being a corner in the 4th round, you can use him on special teams. You can do stuff like that. Last year, Darnay Holmes was our corner that we got in day 2, day 3. So it's one of those things where there are good corners in that spot. There really are, and a lot of them get slept on. A lot of them drop down because of worrisomes and stuff like that. But I really do think Mukuamu is going to be pretty solid if given to the right system, played the right way, and not started right away. So I think that's a good spot for him to be, where he can play with Darnay. He could play with maybe Adoree Jackson, but obviously James Bradbury, and learn from a guy like Bradbury who's a vet to get the best he can be. So at this point, we're doing really good in this draft as well. I think that this is a good way for the Giants to go. It's very much shoring up the defense and accepting the offensive fact that you got Golladay, you got Barkley, you got everything like that. Mike Glennon is the backup quarterback now for Daniel Jones, so looking at a backup quarterback would not be that bad. I think Glennon might be on a 2-year deal, I think is what they signed him to. But obviously Daniel Jones has, I think, this year and then one more year until the option needs to be picked up. So looking at the Giants pick here, and we do pick again in 5 picks, you kind of can do a lot of things. Getting a receiver would be nice. Let's see. Do we got any speedy guys here? Let's see. We got 6'2". I don't think you're going to be one of the most impressive pure athletes. Ball skills, perimeter, explosiveness. Gotcha. 6'4" from Fajelko. And 6' Cornell Powell as well. So I don't know if we're going to be taking any receivers here. Because I'm really looking for a speedy guy to maybe be a return specialist. And I'm not sure I'm seeing that. So let's look at the quarterbacks here. Sam Ehlinger is there. Felipe Franks out of Arkansas, who actually had a really good pro day, I've heard. Round 6, I think Felipe Franks might be the way to go, honestly. He had a really good pro day. He's 6'6", he's an athlete. I think Felipe Franks is going to be the pick here. Because you can use him maybe in a Taysom Hill role. You can have him win the training camp spot over Mike Glennon to save you some money. That might be good as well, and just getting a backup or even a backup plan for Daniel Jones if he doesn't pan out. I'm a believer in Daniel Jones. I love his deep ball, but there's still the possibility. It is still out there. Jalen Darden out of North Texas. Let's see, dynamic, explosive threat, 5'9". That's exactly what we wanted. get him there. He's going to be a return specialist. He's going to help us out, take that John Ross role over, so we don't have to pay John Ross the next year. Unless John Ross balls out, I'm very excited to see what John Ross can do, and I'm pretty sure that that's all the picks that we have. Let's see. I don't know if it'll show up here. I'm pretty sure that's all the picks that we have for the draft. I'm pretty sure it's just going to end here. So I think we're just going to end it at 2, and because the only other thing is maybe we go corner if somebody fell. But I just don't see it happening. So if you guys do enjoy these mock drafts and do enjoy how I'm doing it this year, please leave a like. It does show your support. Of course, subscribe if you are new. It does help me out a bunch. I'm really excited to be back. I'm very happy to be back. So if you guys can keep showing that support, it's really going to help me out a lot. And it's just going to show that you guys do want these videos and you are still looking towards the draft. Even though this world has been kind of crazy, it's taken us away from a lot of things. I'm very happy to be back and seeing the support, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying the content. So like I said, if you guys did enjoy the video, please leave it a like. If not, refresh the page, check it out again, let me know what you think a second time. And without further ado, that is going to be it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.